Hola amigos, in case you haven't heard, tickets are now on sale for our very first Vision to Villa VIP experience here on the Costa del Sol. This is your chance to spend the day with me and the WL Costa Properties team exploring properties tailored to your lifestyle, meeting our trusted local experts and getting the insider knowledge that you need to buy with absolute confidence. The price will never be this low again, and when these limited spots are gone, they are gone. Secure your place now by visiting www.wlcostaproperties.net and take your first real step from vision to villa.
Welcome to the Costa Property Podcast, the podcast that turns your dreams of owning a piece of paradise on the Costa del Sol into reality. I'm Warner Laurie, and I'm joined by my co-host and wife, Sandra Laurie.
Join us as we embark on navigating the ins and outs of real estate and relocation to this beautiful region.
We're not just about market trends, we're about sharing real-life experiences, because we know the struggle firsthand, and I've helped many people navigate this challenge also.
If you're dreaming of your perfect Costa del Sol home and want to get real, no frills, expert advice, then you're absolutely in the right place. Join us each week as we share honest insights and information that will guide your journey. Getting a mortgage in Spain as a foreigner is one of the most common questions we are asked, and to be honest, it's one of the most misunderstood parts of the buying process. So in today's episode, we're cutting through the confusion. We've brought in Peter from Mortgage Direct into the studio to walk us through everything that you need to know. Whether you're buying now, in the next few months, or you're just starting to plan ahead, this is an episode that will absolutely give you real clarity.
How are you, Peter?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much for the invitation.
No problem. Thank you for being here. So Peter, before we start, just tell us a bit about yourself, what you do and why you came to Spain.
Good question. I've been in finance in the Netherlands since 2001, 2002, I think. First in insurances, later in mortgages, and I ended as a financial advisor. Thinking about moving abroad for many years, but pushing it forward every time, security-wise. And in 2017, 18, I got an agreement with my boss to have a sabbatical for 1 year to check it out myself. And yeah, I did that. I moved to Malaga for 1 year was the idea. But at the end of that year, I ran into my current wife and decided to stay a little bit longer. After the end of that year, we moved together as well. Then the COVID period started, and 9 months later we got our first daughter. So that was quite quick, but yeah, happy times for us. Yeah, I think that's now 1.5 years ago. I ran into Kevin. Kevin is the owner of Mortgage Direct, and yeah, we hit it off. And he asked, "Okay, I'm actually expanding at the moment in Costa del Sol. Do you want to join us?" So that was for me the reason actually to start thinking again to start working in finance. So that was last year. But it's happy times again.
Amazing. So how long have you been with Mortgage Direct now?
I started officially, the September last year.
Okay, and how's it going for you?
Yeah, well, it's my wife Anna, we bought our property 3 years ago in Torremolinos ourselves. Yeah. And yeah, working in the finance for many years, and that was my first experience with working with banks, and that was. We were dealing with the director of a certain bank in Spain, so we shook on it, and I was convinced, okay, the director says so, we're going to make it work. And then quite quickly some readjustments of the mortgage came. So that was for me a trigger, and more people started asking me questions about it. For me, okay, I can help a lot of people here. So that was for me the trigger to work in finance again.
Yeah, I know from my own experience being in the real estate for a long time, when people are coming to buy a property and they say, "What about mortgages?" And I'm going, before I met yourself, I was like, well, you can try this bank and you can try that bank and you can see, and they would just be so overwhelmed. They would be like, I don't know where to start. I don't know. I'm going to come to Spain. I'm going to go and see the banks, which was even worse because the first question is, do you have a bank account, or where's all your documents? So I'm really loving now that people are taking control of that, because my job is to sell properties as a real estate agent.
Yeah.
But with that, then I need to have affiliations with people that can help me. And mortgages is obviously a massive one.
Yeah.
So one of the questions asked, can foreigners get a mortgage in Spain?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Actually, Spain is one of the few countries worldwide who still is willing to provide mortgages for non-residents. So there's a couple of restrictions taken consideration, but in general, yes, definitely so. You don't have to live over here per se, so you can start with a holiday home. Some people do it for rentals as well, purely as an investment. That's also a possibility. So definitely yes. They're still open for tourists, many much so.
Yeah, well, that's one thing about Spain. The doors they're always opened, and it's good that obviously the banks are happy to give those mortgages if you're speaking to the right person.
Exactly.
And you know the right people, because it's
exactly.
still that sort of place. So, like if my client's coming to buy a property, I hold his hand through every step of the way.
Yeah.
And obviously I don't know anything about mortgages or finances, so it's great. Then when they ask me the question, I say, Peter's your man, and then you take over from there. I do my job, you do your job, and we can come together.
Yeah.
So if I was a foreigner, what percentage of mortgages can I get?
Little bit depending on two parts. If you are a euro earner in the European Union, of course, or abroad. So it's, in general, you can say between 60 and 70%. But the second part where they look at is if you are a rustic buyer or more an urban buyer. So it's more a finca-ish in the middle of nowhere, that the banks in general say, okay, we have some restrictions over here, so we can say between 50 and 60%. If it's more in the urban areas, popular areas like around over here, but Malana, they can perfectly fine say 70%. And that's, keep in mind, it's 70% on the purchase price or the evaluation price, whichever is the lowest. So sometimes people come to me and say, I had a great deal. They asked 150,000 euros, but I bought it for 125,000 euros. So I can get 70% of the 150,000 euros. No. It's the 125,000 euros then. So whatever is most beneficial for the banks.
For the banks.
Yeah, exactly.
So a typical loan to value here is about 50 to 60%.
Well, 70% is possible as well.
Maximum 70%.
Maximum 70%, exactly, yeah. In this area, I would say yes, 60, 70% is possible.
Okay, and we know the Costa del Sol now is in the property boom. So, for example, if I'm buying a property around 400,000 euros, what kind of realistically cash do I need to have ready to buy?
Well, in this case, 400,000 euros, if you take a maximum of 70%, that will mean that you can borrow around 280,000 euros.
Yeah.
So that can mean that your minimum needs 120,000 euros, get up to the 400,000 euros. But what quite often a lot of people are missing are the additional costs. So you have to pay tax, you have to go to the notary. I always advise people to go to a lawyer, to have legal advice, so that can add up between 10 up to maximum 15%. You have to take consideration on top of the 400,000 euros.
Okay, so if I'm buying a property for 400,000 euros, I have 70% mortgage, which is 280.
Yeah.
My, say, costs, let's say, are around about 13%. So you're looking about
170,000 you need for your own, 170, 180.
Yeah. 170, and I can buy a property for 400,000.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, and what's the document? Do you need a lot of documentation? What would you ask for?
Well, of course, I want to see who I'm dealing with. So a passport or something similar. What do they do? How do they make their money?
Yeah.
Do they work for a boss or not? So I want to see a payslip. If they work for themselves in a company, then I want to see the last 3 years. The numbers, of course. So to give me a little bit an idea of what they calculate in Spain with is the net income. So they look at your net profit or their net income. So the next criteria, it's what they will look at is your debt to income ratio. So they say in general you can have between 30 and 40%, you can have your maximum debt. So if you're making 10,000 net a month, you can have maximum debts in total of 4,000 euros. That is your current mortgage back home and all your additional loans you may have, credit cards, car loans and whatnot. And then the room still available up to the 40%, you may use for your mortgage in Spain. And that is not allowed to surpass the 40%.
Okay, so
makes it maybe a little bit difficult, but
no, I totally get it.
Okay.
So you have to kind of cross a lot of boxes in order for you to find out this is what I can buy.
Exactly.
So I have a client. He's been onto the website. He's clicked in, and tell me, what is the starting point there? What happens?
First, I start with a call. So who are you? What is the idea? What is the dream? Or is it a realistic dream or really a dream? I think every week, at least once or twice, I have a person who has saw something online or on TV. Okay, that's what I want as well. So just without any knowledge of the country whatsoever, they have a dream to move abroad to Spain, and they come with unrealistic numbers, data, and okay, then I'm not your guy to work with. So if I hear a realistic story as a normal story, then I refer them to our link, which we provide an affordability check. They can fill in their data. It's all free of charge, so no money to be paid yet. And it gives me more realistically insights in their possibilities. Also, how much is possible. So that would be the second step. And from there, we can take it a little bit further, collecting actually the salary slip, etc., all the documents we need. I give them a big list of all the documents I need, and then we can start the process with the banks. Normally what I do, of course, I know a little bit, okay, this case belongs to this bank, is the best. I get the best deal over there. There's the best chance of succeeding.
Yeah, so one of my clients that came to me through a referral, and he said, oh, I'm pre-approved by 3 different banks. And I said, well,
perfect.
How did that happen, and what does pre-approved mean?
Yeah, pre-approve is you get in advance, before you actually found a property or actually want a certain property, the bank says, okay, we are willing to provide you a mortgage of 200,000 euros, 250,000 euros, for example, under these conditions.
Okay.
So that gives you the security as soon as you, because that's quite often what happens with people abroad, they run into a property, fall in love with it. Okay, I'm going to do it. And then they pay 10% reservation fee without having any knowledge of security, of having a approval from the bank that you can get a mortgage.
Yeah.
So that's with a pre-approval, it gives you more security.
Okay, and it gives you an idea of what they can buy. So say if I've got a pre-approval for 300,000 and I'm looking to buy a 400,000 apartment, then that can get a bit complicated. So they would have to work on what the pre-approved, because with the figures that they've put in, if they're right, then that's what they're going to issue.
Yeah.
And okay, so I went on the website, you've made the call to us, we're pre-approved. What happens next?
I would say go back to Warner and actually look for the property you want, the area as well. It's also for me, it really depends if I get from one of my collaborators or straight away to the company.
Yeah.
People have no knowledge whatsoever from Spain.
Of course.
I said, okay, funnel it down. Where do you want to live? That's normally, I'm not starting the process of pre-approval. If people are going for holidays for many years too, and I want to live over here, I want to retire over here, okay, we can deal quite quickly. And we can continue the process. So
it is a bit like real estate. It's like, I want to buy something, but I'm looking in Malaga to Estepona.
Yeah.
So you're like, well, it's the same as real estate.
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
Please go and try those areas. Make sure you find the property, or pick a designated area that you like, and then we can work with that. So like I totally get it. So they're not wasting my time, and they're not wasting wasting your time.
And sometimes people really want to move to Spain,
Yeah,
also without any knowledge. Then quite often I say, okay, sorry, rent something for the first year
of course.
in certain areas. Do you actually like it?
Yeah.
Instead of only looking at the book or the picture or the YouTube or whatnot.
So, okay, I've been pre-approved. We've had the introduction call. I've been pre-approved. I've found my property. What happens next?
In general, well, you will help them, of course, with that. You have to pay the 10% reservation fee. So that's what it means for the seller to take it off the market.
Of course.
That's a big thing here as well. In general, I advise still the people to have a lawyer.
Right.
99% of my clients have a lawyer to give them the power of attorney as well. You don't have to come back every time from Ireland or from the Netherlands.
Nah.
So that your lawyer can take everything into his control. Yeah, again, you have to update maybe your documents you send over to me because the time frame, normally you get a pre-approval, you don't have a property found straight away within a couple of months. It can take a little bit longer sometimes. So I need a new salary, a fresh salary, a new credit report. That's also important, of course. Then no new added loans. Yeah. That happens sometimes as well. Different picture, of course. Yeah, and then we can go actually to the bank. Give me the actual offer. What can you offer for these people? And then they present to you, say yes or no.
Okay, so then with all that information, the bank comes back to you. Is there any difference? What type of mortgages can you get over here? Is it fixed? Is it variable? Or
in general, they have only one mortgage. You pay your principal and you pay your interest. And the interest part you can deal with a little bit. Okay. So you can choose for a fixed. So for the complete period of 20 years, for example. Yeah. Or you can go, no, I like it variable. I want to have more flexibility to pay it back to the banks. That's an option, or a mix of those two. First 5 years fixed, and then we continue with the variable period.
Yeah, it's one of the questions they always ask. Well, what's the interest rate in Spain? Yeah. I think, from your point of view, it all depends on the criteria of the client. If the client's high risk, then the interest rate's going to be bigger. Yeah. Or if they buy a property in the country, then the loan to value is going to be lower because it's a bigger risk. So the banks just basically sitting there going, okay, what's my risk in this?
I think that's a big difference. Back in Holland, we have a list with all the interest rates. Yeah. 5 years is this, and no matter if it's Warner or if it's Peter or whoever, this is the interest rate. And over here, no. There's an overall interest rate-ish in this area you are. And I think at the moment it's everywhere between 2% and 5%.
Yeah.
So and also what a big thing is in Spain, they try to sell additional products.
Okay.
So that's what I see quite often as well. People are putting on the spot. So normally what I do, if I tell you the interest rate is 3.5%, then additional products can give you additional benefits and bonuses for the interest rate.
And what would the products be?
You need a home insurance.
Okay.
That's in general, is that mandatory? You need a bank account. Some banks say, okay, if you put in every month 2,000 euros, you get an additional account. But a life insurance, alarm, is quite often asked as well. And then people come sign for the mortgage at the bank and they said, no, mandatory. So I always make upfront the deal with the client. Do you need a life insurance?
Yeah.
Is it absolutely necessary? Because they can have a lot of money back home, a lot of property at home. They both are capable of paying the mortgage.
Yeah.
In my opinion, you don't need a life insurance. But of course, that's for the people self-decide. But that's
okay. That's interesting. Like, so if I'm through to you, I've been pre-approved. My mortgage is at 3.5%.
Exactly.
But if I take life insurance, if I take an alarm, if I take that, then I get a lower
you can come to 2.5%.
Okay, that's good for the consumer, no?
That can be good for the consumer. Can be good for the consumer. The other day I had a guy, I offered him 3.2% for a mortgage of 600,000 euros, and he came back, you're really expensive. I said, what happened? Well, I got another offer for a bank for 2.6.
Yeah.
So that's a really good offer, but please tell me conditions. Well, that was mandatory for him and his wife. And he told me up front, we don't need a life insurance. Yeah. We have enough funds available of each 300 euros net a month. So there was an additional 600 euros they had to pay on top of the 2.6%. I said, if you are telling me you want to pay 600 a month, we have a better deal for sure in place.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's great that you have somebody like yourself, because then you can say, yes, they can give you that amount, but you have to pay this amount more.
Yeah.
So they're thinking, okay, well, I'm reducing it from 3.5% to 2.5%. But they're actually paying out because they're paying for an alarm they don't want, they're paying for life insurance they don't want.
In this specific case, they're paying, there was 72,000 euros extra which they have to pay.
Wow.
So they're never going to gain on that.
Yeah.
So,
and what do you see as the common mistakes that people make?
not having a clue what they actually want.
Okay.
So in which area in Spain they want to live? Do they know already the area? What is their end goal? Quite often people, want to buy something now, and then when they retire, we're gonna live over there. If you have already knowledge about the area, perfectly fine. But quite often a lot of people think, no, I'm gonna buy this, it's a good investment, I'm gonna rent it out. Okay, where, how, what, is it allowed, etc. So you have to know upfront if it's allowed as well. If you want to buy a property as an investment, in general, the banks say, instead of 70%, maximum 60%, or sometimes even lower. So that's always good to know, of course.
And have you had anybody come to you and say, look, I've been trying to get this mortgage over the line for so long and there was so many complications, and how do you sort that?
Yeah, it's I think every mortgage, one way or the other, has its own complications. As if it all depends on the person. The other day, I had a person she's independent but working worldwide.
Yeah,
and she's working for different companies worldwide. So all the banks declined her, but in the end, she was making proper money. She was not asking the world. So she had a property 100,000 euros, seeking for a mortgage of 70,000 euros. What is it, making more than 10,000 pounds at the moment a month net?
Yeah.
So I think we have to shoot. All the banks said no. So it was that. In the end, she went to the notary last week. So that was my 8 months it took.
8 months.
Yeah. So it's in general more how realistic are you yourself?
Yeah.
And what do you want? The other day as well. Normally we need 3 years of numbers for the last 3 years.
Of course.
If you have your own company. This guy was doing it almost 2 years, but he was a really hard saver. So he made every month, everything he got put aside. So he made quite good money, but he was not there yet. All the time we were looking at properties for 200,000 euros, maybe 250.
Yeah.
So he was seeking for 125,000 euros mortgage. And then the other day I was in Spain. If you can help me with this property, 550,000 euros purchase price. So that's a little bit the other way. Then I get a little bit carried away. So that was impossible.
And I know obviously you're from Holland. So Mortgage Direct, tell me a bit more about Mortgage Direct. Why should my clients use a broker rather than going it alone?
Yeah, I think first of all, Kevin and Catherine started Mortgage Direct 2006. So almost 20 years they're doing it. So I have a lot of experience, a lot of contacts with a lot of parties who can help you with. In general, I would say, of course, you can do it yourself. But first of all, where are you looking for and where? Big thing as well. We have all the account managers within the banks within a dial of a button, so to speak. I would say that saves you tons of time, tons of stress and tons of frustrations. So that's what in the end you start paying for as well. Furthermore, of course, if you come as a consumer yourself, you are one deal. We come every week with a couple of deals to the banks. So in general, we get a better offer as well. So that's,
so you have affiliations with different banks. So if you're putting in 50 customers a week, then obviously you can have a...
Exactly. It's interesting for them.
Yeah, that is interesting. I can remember when Kevin came to the office and he was talking about that. I thought that was really good that you had the exclusivity to one bank, which gives you bigger discounts.
Exactly.
So that was great. And if somebody's listening today and they want to start planning to buy a property or the first step on the mortgage ladder, what would you say that they have to prepare?
Have a call with me.
Okay.
Yes, yeah, you can go to your website, of course. We have the banner inside. I have a quick call with them. This takes you 5-10 minutes. In general, I can filter quite quickly what we are talking about, what is seeking for.
Yeah.
And then the second step would be fill in your data. It's all without losing any money. If they really want to continue, they're really serious with it, I'm going to start collecting all the financial data, of course, and I start asking for several quotes with several banks. Then I ask, as mortgage debt, we ask €695. And if the banks are, well, in general, most of the banks are willing to deal with this, otherwise I wouldn't collect already all those data, of course.
Of course.
But if the bank still says, sorry, it's too high risks, we refund the €695 to the people.
Okay, so once everything is agreed, the fee that you would charge is $695, and basically I think that's cheap for the work that you've been explaining today. You go to the banks, you get them best deals, or exclusive deals that you have with the bank. Yeah. So I think that's great. But at the end, they don't get the mortgage, you refund the money back to them. Yeah.
On the other hand, if they do get a mortgage, there's an additional fee of 0.6%.
Okay.
So that's the total amount then.
So yeah, it sounds really good. We've been working together for the last couple of months, so we've put them through clients and they're really happy with the service.
Yeah, likewise.
And obviously we've added the link onto our website, so it's very easy for people to go onto the website, WL Costa Properties, go to the resource section, mortgages, click that, and then you will call them. Yeah. And do you work all the areas, or have you got a specific?
In principle, we can cover all Spain.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I speak English, but not on a C2 level, I would say. So for some people, it's a little bit, okay, I want to speak to more native. We have those as well. We have Polish speakers, German speakers, proper Spanish speakers as well. So that's within the company available.
Perfect. Well, Peter, thank you for all your information. I'm sure it's going to be valuable to all our customers, and hopefully we'll be doing lots more business in the future.
Very much like so.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Financing a home in Spain can feel confusing at first, but with the right support, it doesn't need to be. Peter, thank you for walking us through all of this so clearly. If you're planning to buy in Spain and want to know what's possible for you, your first step is to really get clear on your budget. Head to www.wlcostaproperties.net and use the link in our homepage to speak with Peter's team at Mortgage Direct. You'll find this information in the resources section. It's completely free to explore your options, and it could save you a lot of time and stress in the long run. Thank you so much for listening into today's episode on the Costa Property Podcast. Another fantastic episode learning about the highs and lows of relocating to the Costa del Sol from real people who have been through the journey themselves, and of course our wonderful experts. If you have been enjoying the show so far, remember to hit subscribe to the podcast and leave a rating or review.
We absolutely love hearing your thoughts. Please send any questions that you would like us to answer on the show to warner@wlcostaproperties.net. Or you can pop us a message on our socials, which are in the show notes. Remember, you can also visit the website, www.wlcostaproperties.net.
See you on the next episode, and bye for now.
Bye-bye.